Welcome to Crypto Moon Hunters, the only crypto podcast bringing you the latest projects across the industry. Cryptocurrencies discussed in this podcast are highly speculative and ultra high risk. Never invest more than you can comfortably afford to lose. Any information discussed in this podcast should not be considered financial advice and is provided for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Seriously, these guys are idiots. And now here are your hosts, professionals of buying high and selling low.
Welcome to Crypto Moon Hunters. I am Crypto Mail. With me today, we have Tim Tello, who is the COO of Pocket Full of Quarters. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you have a really exciting project. Lute, who unfortunately isn't able to make today, had a health issue with his son, but we are both real excited about this. We're both big gamers and very into crypto, obviously doing a crypto podcast, and you bridge both gaps. So if you wouldn't mind, just give us a little bit of your background and then tell us about the project.
Yeah, so I come from gaming. I've been in the gaming industry for about 10 years prior to starting a blockchain company. My initial team, the founding team, is either tech heavy or video game heavy. So we've done over 100 years in video games and 200 shipped titles. Our creative director, Chris Cross, creative Medal of Honor. We have Mark Kaplan, head of licensing, who brought Spider-Man from Marvel to Sony, which is a little bit controversial, but it's kind of a cool thing to be able to claim, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so then we have on the other side, our CEO Mike is very, very much tech heavy. He went to Princeton with the founder of Avalanche. He's good friends with John Woo. Janty, the creator of Matic Polygon, actually worked for us and created Matic Polygon as a rollout of POQ. A lot of people don't know that, which is kind of a really cool beginning story of how we came about. So we've been around forever. We've kind of been in this under the radar mode while we got the SEC no action letter, the patent, and really worked forward to trying to make sure we were on the right level. Because we felt like the way to get gaming into what we're doing was really about getting compliance and all the stepping stones prepared before we were ready to ship it out. So we got all the groundwork ready, and that's where we're at now.
Now, are you seeing, before we get into the actual what the project does, are you seeing any challenges with the regulatory hurdles on, just not knowing what the regulation is at this point? Or do you feel like you got that pretty buttoned up at this stage?
We got it pretty buttoned up. I think the biggest problem now, and we're solving it very quickly, is education. Educating both the blockchain side and the gaming side actually to each other, right? A lot of people don't understand. There's very few people that are gaming and blockchain experts, and we're trying to bridge that gap. And we've created an engineerless solution that is 100% compliant with all regulatory laws, and so that's really the basis of how we're able to open those doors, right? There's none of the big publishers have started to work in blockchain yet, but all of them have their eyes on it. They're trying to figure out how they can do that. And we're starting to showcase how they can create their own tokens using our model, how they can easily integrate with our SDKs and stuff like that.
Okay, great. Well, why don't we take a step back a little bit? And can you explain to our audience exactly what your project is and what it hopes to accomplish?
Sure. Yeah. So Pocket Full of Quarters is we're replacing the fragmentation of free-to-play tokenomics. So we've created a token that acts like a utility token on the blockchain that has no par value, that's got an SEC no action letter, and we have a cryptocurrency. So it's a 2-token model. So similar to how play to earn works, except for the cryptocurrency doesn't actually reside within the video game. There's a few reasons we do that. One, because we feel like it was the compliant way of doing it, but two, because I don't think parents are going to let kids play with real money, right? You get into gambling laws, you get into securities laws, you get into a bunch of different, issues. And so we've separated the two. And so we feel like this is the model that really makes sense for developers and publishers. We can white label tokens for them, so we can create using our services, we can create a token for EA, and it instantly becomes interoperable. So any game that shares the SDK or the chain that we put them on, the token instantly goes from one game to the other, cross-platform, cross game. So similar to Fortnite, how it works with Fortnite mobile to Fortnite console, we can do the exact same thing. But we can even go a step further, and we can bypass the 30% revenue shares of like Apple, Google, Xbox, Steam, and allow developers and publishers to sell their tokens on their website and only pay a 7% fee. So that's really, we're giving them all the benefits of the blockchain without having to really change too much of the fundamentals of what they're used to, right? Free to play gaming.
Gotcha. And now on the developer side, for programming purposes, is it easy to implement into their system, or is that somewhat of a complex process?
It's pretty simple, actually. Yeah, we have an SDK and a OAuth and an API, and they're all really like, one-day developments. We work directly with Unity and Unreal. We do have PlayFab and Lumberyard, but those two aren't the bigger engines. So we're directly with Unity, directly with Unreal, to have our SDKs super clean, that support all levels of Unreal and all levels of Unity. And it's just a plug and play system. You apply the SDK and you're ready to go.
That's awesome. And it's something that I think all gamers, when you build up a huge platform of characters, that's kind of where the NFT world is heading. And then you build up a huge platform of revenue gems or coins within your game. Whenever you're kind of tired of the game, it always hurts to leave and start over at a new place. So if you could take even some of that with you, it would be so appealing. Now, is your plan or kind of vision for this to have kind of individual ecosystems? So, for example, EA Games would have their own chain that they use and transfer coins, or is your goal to kind of see, EA travel over to, Sony Games or, different publishers pulling that coin from publisher to publisher?
I would love a universal token, right? If we can dream to dream, right? If credits are a real thing and Ready Player One could be the way the world works, but that's just a little bit of a far-fetched dream, right? I kind of look at it in terms of countries, and I would love to have where quarters our token could be maybe a medium of exchange, but each token or each publisher would be represented by a country. Now, I do think there are going to be like small publishers and indie developers that can come together and create co-ops. So, like, you think of like the Euro,
right?
They come together and almost compete on a publisher model with one token that represents 1,000 games, or I think that's possible, right? You give indie developers a real power to go and actually take on the big guys, because you can create almost, instead of a subscription, just like a new version of Roblox that's not detained by the physics or the graphics of Roblox, right? You can build on any engine, and it's virtually open to everything. And we do have like our wallets already built in. There's no signage, there's no clickage, so you don't even know you're using Web3. It's so smooth in transitions. It's just instantaneous.
Yeah, your layouts and everything that I've seen digging through your sites look really good. I can tell this was a lot of thought has went into this, and I think that's a lot of what's missing in crypto. Is you see a lot of the projects, they release the coin, raise the funding, and then realize they haven't built the infrastructure. So you just see so many of these coins come and go.
Went the other way. Yeah. We've been around longer than Matic Polygon. Like I said, Matic was a rollout of our company because we were thinking about gas fees when Ethereum was 99 cents per transaction. And we were trying to figure out, I was like, well, if it's 99 cents for a transaction and it's 99 cents to buy the tokens, no one's going to do that. No one's going to pay double. And so we had hired Janty, and he had an idea for forking Ethereum, and that's how Matic Polygon was created. Which is kind of crazy to think about, like how far back we went and how we could have easily listed back then, like everyone else did, like Wax or like Engine, but none of those guys have anything, right? They're still vaporware, like living on a dream. And we have direct integrations with OpenSea for our NFTs. We have NFT wallets that can transfer from game to game. We have our tokens that are ready to go, and we're getting ready to list in the next few weeks here.
That's exciting. Now, do you have for the games that you hope to onboard? Do you have what kind of pipeline do you have, or do you have any names that you can share with the audience at this point?
We have 100 titles on our esports platform, so a lot of people may know us from our esports platform. We have one of the largest. So as we've been growing this, we've been growing a user acquisition model using streamers. We have over 500 streamers that we work with that are signed. 1,000 more that we work with. 500 that are signed. We have daily tournaments, so we have direct integrations with like Fortnite and a few other games that we work with. So there's 100 titles there. We have 40 titles in the pipeline now. We have 14 titles that have already been published to Apple and Google. And we have a few streamer titles as well as a few Steam titles that have come out. And nothing like that I would say that is super big. There are some big things coming, but my PR team would get really upset with me if I announce them too early.
Okay, no problem. And we understand, a lot, especially the marquee names, for them to fully integrate something like this is probably a little ways off as they're doing their R&D on crypto, because a lot of the large companies are still.
I can tell you we're working with some of the largest publishers in the world right now to create their own tokens because of how compliant we are, and there's no risk for them.
That's excellent. So even on we would say mobile titles, we saw the rise over the last several years of how popular Tapjoy became. So you go in and you buy certain things and you get extra gems. Do you feel like the integration is going to be as simple as that, where somebody goes in and it's they can access your portal through those apps?
It's exactly that easy. It's going to literally be. I think the key to making Web3 being adopted by the gaming world is to make it feel like Web 2 with better benefits, right? We even have technology where we can literally think of like Mario or Sonic. As you're collecting coins in the game in real time, that's a transaction. We own the patent for that. We've actually created games that can do that, where you don't even have to hit a paywall. As you play, you're actually paying and you're actually spending and you're actually earning without ever having to make any kind of transaction.
Now, I read that your token, you're going to have it, be a fixed price so that, whenever you purchase, you'll always receive the same amount. How does your tokenomics work in that regard?
Well, so I think we got to clarify again, though. There's two tokens.
Okay.
Right. We have the token for video games, which ours is called quarters, and it's always 400 for $1, similar to how there's 4 quarters for $1. Right. Now, EA may use our technology and call it something completely different and charge whatever they like, right? And they may have tariffs between games, so that you could see like you said, right now there's zero. It's a 100% tariff, 100% taxation to move from one game to another. But they could make it where it's free, or maybe 50%. Like maybe you're going from one Star Wars to the next, right? Or one Battlefront to the next. And you don't have to lose everything, but maybe you pay 2 to 1 to transfer as much as you can. Or, maybe the NFTs transfer just through the hot wallet. So you could start off on, kind of a souped up level. Now the Q2s, which is our cryptocurrency, they work alongside quarters to the smart contract. So every time quarters are purchased, it buys and burns Q2s. So similar to how like a play to earn model is, these tokens have a direct value with the sell and the revenue of quarters because they buy and burn. So every time someone purchases quarters within our ecosystem, we take 15% of that revenue that we make, and we use that to buy and burn our own token.
Gotcha. Now, you'd mentioned that you're going to have a coin launch soon. Can you give us a little bit of information about that?
Sure. Yeah. So we're launching on about 7 different exchanges: Binance, Bitmart, Voyager, XT in China, a few others. It's coming. I would say for sure in May. You should see the launch. There's going to be some pretty big announcements that come along with it that I can't can't talk about too much right yet, but I think we're looking at a top 20 to 30 token within the next year or two, just given the announcements that we're going to be able to make with it.
That's exciting. This is definitely one I plan to watch closely, as I feel like this is something that the gaming community is going to latch on to as the rise of cryptocurrency continues, because I don't see it stopping anytime soon. It's just too popular at this point.
It's definitely coming. All right, it's inevitable, and I think we've tried to really do a good job of bridging what the Web3 people want and what the game developers and publishers want and what the players want. And we're trying to sit in the middle there. Like, look, you can't go all the way to play to earn, or you can't go all the way to loot boxes with NFTs, because that's just not good for players. But and then for publishers, you don't have to change your entire monetization model, right? Because right now fragmentation is their model. And for players, like, wouldn't it be great to be able to spend your tokens everywhere instead of one place, right? It's the difference of, like, what if everything you purchased in life, when you got a return, was in a gift card, right? Like, so you go to, let's say you went to Starbucks, you give them $10 and they give you $4 back on a gift card, and you just had a bunch of those. But then Visa comes out and says, I'll buy all your gift cards and you can take it anywhere. That's the difference we're trying to make in gaming.
Now, what do you think the reason, and I see this in the gaming community, it seems like the vast majority of the gamers are very anti-crypto, and then the crypto people don't seem to be as, I don't know, they seem to have a very weird view of gaming. Where do you think that disconnect is? Because I kind of feel like it should be a natural fit, but you just don't see it too much yet.
I think the big disconnect for gamers themselves is people being taken advantage of, right? For so long now, and especially since free-to-play has come out, it's been about whale hunting, and it's been about how much money can I get out of you, how much breakage is there in the game, how addicted are you, right? And that's not been fun for gamers, because when I was growing up, you paid $29 to $59 and you had everything, right? It was, how good are you? Can you collect everything? You didn't have to buy these things; you earned them, right? And I think that breakage there, and EA has been really bad about it. And then with what Ubisoft did was absolutely horrific, right? They come out with loot boxes, but if you really want the best items, you had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for them. And of course, gamers are gonna, revolt, right? Forever, it's always been about how good are you with this game and what can you earn, not how much are you willing to spend to have the best material. Gamers absolutely hate play to win. They hate it, right? Real gamers hate that. And that's kind of what they were trying to make it. And that's what, loot boxes were. And that's what, and loot boxes were even worse, because it was almost like gambling. And they've outlawed them now, but it was almost like gambling. You had a 1 in a million shot to get the sword you were trying to get. And people would spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to get it and would never get it. And, it's just terrible.
Yeah,
but
the loot boxes are the worst. People that know me on my gaming podcast know I have the worst RNG on the planet when it comes to anything like that. So
and that's exactly what Ubisoft did. So the first real tell of true blockchain gaming that we see is a loot box model with NFTs. But in order to get the best NFTs, instead of like saying, oh, well, just keep playing the loot box, you can just go and buy it for $1,000 on this NFT exchange. Well, that's kind of bullshit, right? No one wants to spend $1,000 for some in-game item. That's not as you're supposed to work. And so that's where the disconnect is on the gamer side. And on the blockchain side, I would honestly argue, and this could be a little bit controversial, there has not been a video game yet published to the blockchain. Axie Infinity is not a video game, in my opinion. It's a $50,000 piece of crap from Unity that they put NFTs in, and it's all based on speculation. And it was a first to market. Everyone was just money grabbing at that point. And the people that are the 100 million Web3ers that are gamers per se are all speculative gamers. They're not playing games to play for the fun of the game, because there's no fun games out there. On blockchain, they're playing games strictly for the speculation of, is this coin going to pump or not? And
we had one that it was actually kind of fun. I mean, it was good for a crypto game. It was kind of like a Battlestar Galactica, old school 80s style game, but it was a decent game, but then the developer rugged it. We actually had him on one of our early episodes. Well, it's a long, complicated story, but either he rugged it or one of the programmers that was like part of designing it basically embezzled out of and then it got to a point where they couldn't move forward with it. So once again, it's, they rushed. It was a game that, and in his defense, it was a game that came out and it became ultra popular because it was a rare, fun game to play on crypto, and it grew so fast. He was way out of his league, but something funny happened, and then it catastrophically crashed, which is what you see in most crypto, like to your point, what you've seen on most crypto games. And then the successful ones like Axie Infinity is basically, it's more or less just staking, and you push a button, stake, and let it go for a little bit and come back, and you either got something or you didn't.
Yeah, that's not a game, right?
No.
It's not fun. I think we're, it takes time to build great games, right? Even cheap games that we would build, grow up when I was in the industry, maybe like a $2-3 million development. That still takes a year, right? It still takes time. You still gotta, there's a lot of work that goes into games like that. Now you can definitely reskin titles, but not reskin them to the monetization structure of what we're seeing in the crypto industry now. But with what we're doing, right, by just replacing the token with a blockchain token that has a better use case and a better value, and then attributing that to an actual crypto on exchanges. Now that's a completely different model than we've seen today. That's taking what we have, making it better, and then utilizing that to create value on a crypto, and that's exchangeable.
Yeah, I think this is the next step in crypto gaming, because building a crypto game on the blockchain will take. I mean, we're years away from, I think, quality games coming out. I think your solution is a way to accelerate that process without them having to reinvent how they build the game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so, we work with every EVM compatible chain. We help, everyone from like Clayton to Harmony to Binance to, I'm literally flying up to meet with Auguron in Boston, the CEO of Auguron. We're helping all these guys use their grant funding because we see all the deal flow. We see all the games. We know all the players. And we're bringing them opportunity to get transactions. The key to every single chain today is transactions. The reason people build on Polygon is because they have the most transactions. And whether that chain is scalable or not, it's irrelevant. It's all about transactions. And you got to think about, there's 100 million people using crypto, but if you bring a game with 100,000 users that are transacting every single day, that's a milestone into what we're seeing. So you could put 100,000 new players onto Harmony whose chain's not that great in transactions, but it automatically pumps because you're talking about a world of percentages, not that's relative, right? And so we're about to see some crazy stuff happen, I think. And then with Ethereum 2.0 coming out, and then all these forks of Ethereum, I think we might be able to start seeing 100,000 transactions per second, maybe 200,000 transactions per second. We're really getting to the point where blockchain gaming is going to make more and more sense.
Well, and the other interesting thing about the blockchain gaming that you bring up is that I think we'll weed out the poor chains. That whenever these amount of transactions start hitting the chains, it's not going to be acceptable when you're gaming to have horrible wait times and huge gas fees. It's not going to work. So I think we'll weed out the chains that maybe have lasted longer than they should have.
Absolutely. Yeah, we absolutely will. And I think we'll weed out a bunch of, I think within this year, the SEC and then technology will weed out, a good 50% of what we see out there in exchanges now. Real products will be standing, but, there's going to be a lot of stuff that gets dropped. I'm kind of excited about it. We're going to start seeing the real world right before our eyes, and then these chains that can't compete, they're going to get dropped. But like even like Polygon, like I said, we were a rollout of Polygon. We broke Polygon I don't know how many times. We'll do 4 million transactions in a day, and right now they're doing about 10 million. But just on our esports platform, we'll break Polygon.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really excited about crypto and gaming. I think that's the next big phase of crypto before we move into whatever direction it decides to go after that. It just seems too natural of a fit.
I agree with you. I really do believe the convergence of people onto Web3, it starts with gaming, right? 3 billion gamers in the world, that's half the world. And it's only getting bigger.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I really like your project. We'll definitely keep an eye out for your launch. Any other things you'd like to cover before we wrap this up?
We're doing a lot of cool stuff in gaming, but I'd also watch out for some cool stuff we're doing in both metaverse and as well as NFTs. I let it slip a little bit. We're doing a cool Stan Lee metaverse and an NFT drop here pretty soon. And there's going to be some cool stuff on that side of the world as well. So, our crypto comes out, like I said, in May, and then we have some cool launches coming alongside of that. So I'd watch out for both.
Awesome. Great. And if you're listening to this, check the show notes. We have all of their links to all of their sites and some media press that they've had recently. So definitely make sure you give this one a deep dive. Well, Tim, we really appreciate you coming on. I think you have one of the best projects I think we've ever had on this podcast. So as a gamer, this is one I'm super excited for. So thanks again.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me. You guys have a good day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Crypto Moonhunters. If you like the show, consider becoming a Patreon and get special perks. Just go to patreon.com/cryptomoonhunters. You can also tip your host by donating to our wallets. Just see the address in the show notes. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave comments on whatever platform you listen to.